This video is inspired on the back of a conversation I had with a client just the other day, which I thought would be worth sharing with you all as well. And we were talking about the investment markets and how they've fallen pretty dramatically this year and did so at the height of the pandemic as well. And it led to a discussion on how companies fail and what we can do about that to spread that risk. And I was using a metaphor about the evolution of species and how that fits well with the evolution of companies as well. Now, if we think about Darwin's work on the Galapagos Islands, what he found was, and the major premise of the theory of evolution was, it's not the survival of the strongest species that survive, but those that are most adaptable to change. So if we think back to the dinosaurs and how they roamed the world, the earth for millennia, and then for a number of reasons, meteors and volcanoes and things like that, they all died out, and new species evolved, the mammals and the plant life and the bird life that we enjoy today, and of course us as humans as well. And so as the environment changes, so do the fortunes of species within that. And that is the same in the economic, political, social environment as well. If we go back a few decades, the largest companies in the world were the likes of General Electric and we've had DuPont and ITI as huge companies who now either don't exist or exist in a much smaller form. And today's great companies, the likes of Apple, Amazon, Google, Facebook, didn't exist at all 10 to 15 years ago. But it was a change of technology landscape, of social mobility, economic circumstance that paved the way for not only the failure of those big companies, but the growth of the great companies, the big companies of today. And we just need to think about the likes of Nokia and Kodak are great examples of companies that failed to see a change in the corporate environment and the social, economic environment that led to their downfall because they couldn't adapt. Now, we don't know what the big companies in the next 15, 20 years will be, but quite probably they don't exist in today's form. But there will be some shift, cultural, technological, economic, political, whatever it might be, that will cause the current great companies to fail and others to take their place. And this is important from an investing point of view, because those people who just invest in a smaller number of companies because they think they're winning stocks, and they might just hold those stocks directly or through a fund that invests itself in smaller companies, you're more likely to experience as losses over the future or miss out on potential gains because we don't know what the trigger for those companies to fail will be. Whereas if we invest in a broad range of stocks through an index, with indices like the S&P 500, the 500 biggest companies in the world, we know come what may, it doesn't matter with whether Google, Amazon, Facebook, Apple, all the large companies of today fail, because we're automatically going to get the new generation, the new breed coming up to take their place, and will benefit from the growth in the value of their shares as well. So that is why with your portfolios, they're very broadly invested in thousands of companies. Now, it doesn't mean they don't fall in value when we go through periods of high inflation and crises like the Ukraine crisis or the pandemic, but it means over the long term, we can benefit from most likely lower risk on a relative level, better growth, and do so at lower cost. So I hope that is a useful analogy for you to help you understand why we invest the way we do. As always, if you've got any comments or questions, please do let me know.